most important legislation to be taken up by Parliament in the monsoon session is the Electricity Amendment Bill. It proposes to introduce a big reform in the electricity distribution sector. For the last many years, we have seen the play of power distribution reforms by allowing the private sector to enter the crucial area of power distribution. But these reforms have been incomplete and woefully inadequate. We have simply replaced a state sector monopoly power distributor with a private sector monopoly power distributor. Obviously, the desired benefits through competition and more choices for electricity consumers have not resulted. The Electricity Act did talk about open access, but this was tied down to many conditions which were never met. So, we saw in the last 2 decades many state-owned power distribution companies being privatized, but there was no competition. The proposed bill will de-license power distribution. Effectively, this will allow any entity, be in the private sector or the public sector, enter any distribution area of any city and offer an alternative distribution service to consumers. The earlier protection enjoyed by the privatized distribution networks or the state-owned distribution outfits should disappear over time. If implemented well, this could be a big reform in the power distribution sector. Many questions will arise to the sanctity of the existing licenses of distribution that existing players have. One has to see how the interests of the incumbents are kept in mind while allowing more competition and more choices for electricity consumers. Remember that in the past, the idea of open access faced stiff resistance from incumbent players and it never made headway. Delicensing is a new idea, and if implemented well, by ensuring that incumbent players are also free to lease out their existing services to new players, it could lead to efficiency gains for the sector as also consumers. The battle after delicensing will be for owning the customer by providing the last mile power connectivity between the consumer household and the local area transmission substations. A bold decision, long awaited, but its success depends on careful implementation. It is too early to say that the government has developed cold feet on privatization. You see, there are 2 kinds of privatization that this government is pursuing. One kind of privatization can be completed through an executive decision. There are many public sector units which were not created through an act of parliament. Those public sector units can be privatized through an executive decision of the government. That path now has been made easier by shifting the Department of Public Enterprises, which is to be part of the Ministry of Heavy Industry, to the Finance Ministry, which would now be able to take a final and quick call on selling these units to private bidders and also monetizing assets of many such companies. I do not see any delay in such privatization. The other kind of privatization is selling the government's majority ownership of public sector entities created through an act of parliament. These include state-owned banks or insurance companies. You will recall that banks were nationalized in 2 phases, once in 1969 and again in 1980, through legislation passed by Parliament. Similarly, insurance companies too were nationalized through the passage of law. If these have to be privatized, you need an amendment in the law. The government had announced in its budget this year that it would privatize 3 public sector banks and an insurance company. There was expectation, therefore, that the monsoon session of Parliament will see the introduction of these privatization bills for the banks and the insurance company. It appears from the agenda of the monsoon session that the privatization bills will not be presented this time. This might mean further delay in privatization of banks and insurance companies. It is possible that they may be tabled in the winter session, but if that delay takes place, we do not know if the bills could be passed in the same session, as they would be debated, actually hotly debated and opposed stiffly by the trade unions and the opposition parties. So it is possible that the privatization agenda for banks could be postponed to the next financial year. The new amendments to the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Resolution Law is to effectively allow the owners of micro, mini, and small enterprises escape from the provisions under which they could lose their companies if their debtors took them to NCLT under the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. This is a kind of a legislative forbearance in light of the COVID-led distress among the MSMEs. Strictly speaking, these dilute the functioning and effectiveness of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. Pre-packaged solution of insolvency cases will now be allowed, under which defaulting promoters would be allowed to pay up the dues under a negotiated settlement. One hopes that the coverage of this amendment is not expanded to cover other sectors over time. There are many problems with the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, but we must resolve them without diluting its basic spirit and character. There are a few other legislative bills to be taken up in the monsoon session of Parliament. Bank depositors have been distressed whenever a banking company is in trouble. The Reserve Bank of India, for good reasons, places an embargo on the operations of the troubled bank till a resolution is found. This can take weeks and even months. In the interim, the depositors realize that they have lost all access to their deposits. They cannot even claim their deposits up to Rs 5 lakh, which are protected under the Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Law. The proposed amendment will allow access to such deposits in the case of a bank in trouble and comes under a moratorium order from the RBI. Another proposed amendment seeks to make the process of mining companies acquiring or leasing land for undertaking their operations. At present, the law on acquisition of land for mining purposes is stringent, and even though private coal mining has been allowed, the legal challenges have failed to make a difference because of the rigidities in acquisition or leasing of land for mining by such companies.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.